was going to get it. And Keith Boone, you weren't always sure of because there was a good chance he was passed out behind the kit. But if he was awake, he was going to kill it. I just always wonder if Roger was like, man, the vocals on this, guys. I mean, huh? Right? I mean, listen to me. Are you guys listening to me?
They knew. There are certain recordings that you can hear a free and easiness to what's going on everywhere.
It's just being belted. It's so big. It's larger than life. And you're like, oh, yeah, you got it. You got it. And you don't always write to it. You know, some songs are just studio versions, and then others you're like, oh, this is a live masterpiece, but not so, it doesn't translate as well on the record and vice versa. No, that's perfect all the way around. All right, here we go. It's Thursday, another day closer. That's what we do these days. It's list season and check off the calendar, baby. That's what you do. It's another day, and we get little gains and wins here and there. Got a text yesterday from a friend who said, hey, appreciate the shout out there. I saw where we were written about, and you said something about it. I said, you're damn right I did, because the Savvy Collective is paying dividends to the point where it's being mentioned now almost like it's free advertising. You got national writers going. And I was told, I just want you to know about this, I was told there's more good news on the way. More good news on the way in the weeks to come, Tom Lang. More good news on the way involving Florida State football and their ability to continue to recruit at a high level.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're talking perhaps the prep ranks?
It seems that way.
Okay.
Seems that way, buddy.
Transfers? How?
Yeah, no. I think that's on hold temporarily until we're allowed to, I guess, again. But where is, by the way, I have not, you would think your afternoon talk show host in Tallahassee, been here 25 years doing this stuff, would have an idea of exactly where we are in the football recruiting world. But I know we're top 10. I know nationally we're top 10 right now. Is that not correct? We're like top 7, yeah. I think it is.
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, imagine if that gets to top 5, because I think that's where we're all looking now. This is a continued theme. We touched on it yesterday. It was the whole idea of, okay, once you get to a certain level of good, now you got to ascend to great, and everything is compared and contrast to greatness. And that's true of recruiting rankings. Bottom line is that's true of recruiting rankings too. And Florida State is in a good spot right now for this upcoming year. I don't know, depending on where. I guess it depends on where you're looking, Tom. I don't know. I think the different recruiting rank, I never know who's what, and there's disagreement on some of this, but I also know this: within the ACC, you need to get to the point where you are number 1, where you're out recruiting Clemson and Miami, and that it's not going to be a problem. That's where you reside on the regular. It goes goes without saying that if you're top 10 nationally, you ought to be right there atop the ACC. Clemson and Miami have been vying for that fringe for a while now. You ought to lead the way there, and I know we're ahead of both those schools right now, so that's a good thing. That's where I'll lock in on that and then go for the national stuff.
Yeah, again,
I mean, you're not going to beat Georgia and Ohio State right now. Probably not Alabama.
Well, you're beating Georgia for a 5-star tight end. You have beaten them twice in a sense.
Yeah, you already did. Yeah,
because he left and then he came back. He said, you know what? I don't like Georgia as much as I like Florida State.
I brought this up before. I'll bring it up again while we're talking about the Tide and the way things have gone and how excited it makes me. I want, as much as I talk about judging where we're at based on the vitriol we receive from fan bases around the college football universe. Like that's great. That's always a good sign. You're getting under people's skin when you're winning too much and there's too many positive notes being written about you. Headlines that are starting to get old for people as they click their favorite college football sites or they begin to read the preseason mags. They're like, oh, I'm tired of this. I got to earn it first. I'm sick of this. I love hearing talk like that. That's fine. Now you're on the cusp. But I also like hearing the behind-the-scenes frustration from coaches, and I can tell you that has happened as well. There's real frustration with coaches now having to deal with Florida State, both in the transfer portal, obviously, and now when it comes to the preps, because when you start hearing pushback from Kirby Smart and Nick Saban, that's a good sign. When you hear anger from others who are top tier level recruiters and the runners and everybody else, we're having to deal with Florida State right now. Yeah, you are. Yeah, no apologies. Suck it. There you go.
Yep, it's part of I think a grieving process. I think that's what it is
They
for
were
these
gone
coaches.
for so long and now they're back, and I thought we had rid them. Yeah.
It's Florida State? No way. Florida State? Really? Again?
Mm-hmm.
Florida State. Again. Oh man, it's Florida State. Kid likes Florida State, grew up a Florida State fan. That's the process they go through. They deny it. Then they think there are shenanigans that Florida State must be pulling that are above and beyond the shenanigans that they pull.
Shenanigans.
Because coaches love to throw stones from glass houses, don't they? It's just part of their, I don't know, their DNA.
It's all shenanigans.
And then there's, all right, they're a part of the club. And then they get through their denial, they get through their grief, and they just understand that, oh man, it's like when you're accepted into a new friend group. They just laugh and they say, well, that's what you do. You're sitting at our lunch table now. So how did you pull that kid? You want to tell me? Oh, you little guy.
Son of a you.
Oh, Norvell. I didn't think you'd be in the club, brother, but you fit. This looks nice. You and Nick and me. I'm Kirby Smart.
Oh, you're Kirby, are you?
It's like, you know what? I didn't think you'd fit in this lounge, but you do. You're perfect fit. Welcome.
I got to give Kirby credit during this whole ascension to top college football that Georgia has had. I do think it's kind of pimp that he routinely flies in on a helicopter for the kids that he's really worried about on like that day that you're going to be there, like down onto your field. Oh, Kirby's here. I would do that. If I were all in on having to live this life, and this would be the number one thing I hated about being a college football coach, would be having to cater to 16, 17-year-olds and nonsense and family members and distant family members and runners with their hands out, having to deal with all that nonsense. I would hate it. I would hate having to constantly sit around and text. I always admired this, by the way, about Jimbo and other elite recruiters, right? They always had a mindset, and I think Mike has it. This is why I wasn't worried that he would come around on the high school ranks once they developed reputations and relationships that they couldn't develop early on. You had to do two things. You had to win, and you had to have access to coaches and kids on the heels of winning so that you could develop relationships with these high schools and these coaches. But you have to look at recruiting if you're going to be elite at it, and all the great teams are certainly elite at recruiting, and those coaches specifically, you have to look at it as it's not just part of your job. It's why you're paid $7, $8, $9, $10 million a year. You can find a way to sit around and text 16-year-olds if we're paying you $8 million a year. So what you got to do is part of it. Maybe an element of your job that you hate, just like there are elements of my job that I hate. Everybody has a job. Even if you love your job, even if you tell somebody, I think my job is the best job there possibly is, there are elements of that job that you're going to go, I hate this part of the job. I really do. I wish this wasn't part of the job. There's always something. Nobody has a perfect job. Anyhow, that said, you can't look at it that way. You have to look at it as, okay, well, this is part of it, but not only is it part of it, I'm going to kill it because I'm going to look at it as another part of the competition. Everything's competition in big-time college athletics, right? It's all about winning. It's winning a game. It's winning the scouting report. It's winning the recruiting. It's winning the preparation. It's winning parents over in a living room. It's always about winning. So if you just view it as one of the many competitions that you're paid handsomely to win more than you lose, then you could probably do it. You could do it. You could get home at 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night and say, hey, babe, I love you. Thanks for the dinner. Sorry, I've got a text for an hour. Little Jimmy's not feeling wanted. I got to let him know that here at 10 o'clock in the Norvell household, I'm thinking about him. Put a gun in my mouth, but I'm thinking about him. Hey, that's what you got to do.
And if I do this right, then Nick's going to feel that way over in Tuscaloosa, and Kirby's going to feel that way because they're going to be pissed off at my existence. And guess what, hun? I'm hearing through the grapevine, they are pissed off at my existence because they're reminded of what Florida State once was and what is trending to be again, and they're afraid. You know why they're barking? Because they're afraid. If we operate the way Florida State has in the earlier part of their careers, hell, Kirby was here. He knows. He knows what this place can be. They know that is an existential threat to their status as one of the elite. They have to survive around us now rather than just plow right past us. And that's where it's all going. And it's great. But this season is critical to fortify all of the messaging on the coaching staff side. You go ahead, you win 10-plus games again this year. You could make the college football playoff. You win the ACC or you get out to Charlotte. Then you can retain these kids and say, It's happening exactly like I told you it was going to happen. You, young man, are going to be the player that puts us over the top, but you can't fall flat on your face now.
No, and I think from here on out, you're in a position, like I said yesterday, that we've now turned the corner in one short year. In truth, it's been more than 1 year, but the victories on the field at the end of all that hard work is what it's measured by. And so it is just a singular season of success by that measure. You now are not allowed to go back. There's no, walking anything back. From here on out, the expectations should be sky high, and they'll remain that way. There's no season at Alabama or Georgia these days, or Ohio State annually. Same with Southern Cal currently, now that they're invested again. That'll be the case. It's always the case of Texas, but they fail miserably at it. Oklahoma, you name it. There are places that you have to win, and you have to win consistently, and there's an expectation that winning has the floor at 9 or 10. 9 or 10 every time. That's it. You don't have your bad season is a 9-3 or 8-4 campaign at worst. That's where we're at now. Because to go backward is death. You don't have the luxury of falling into the arms of huge wealth like they do in the Ohio State program or any of the SEC programs because of where they're at. You're right. You can have a bad year. You're still going to make a gazillion dollars and be able to invest in the next class. For Florida State, you're fighting for your life. You got to sustain a level of elite relevance so that you remind everybody of what kind of brand you are, what kind of attention you bring to TV sets everywhere, and what they might allow you to sell down the line. That's what Florida State has to continue to be. Omnipresent, mattering, big games, successes. I think it does matter here. I remember Corey and I used to argue back in the day. I used to say to him when Jimbo ran the slowest pace on earth, and it drove me nuts too, because when you have better players, you should run more plays, not less plays. But hey, bottom line is he was never going to run a fast-paced offense. They were always going to run about 58 plays a game, and we were like, man, that's a lot of production for 58 plays. But I actually, at the time before the offense became elite, obviously under one Jameis Winston, I used to say, I don't care if we win 17-7, as long as they're wins and they're compiled one upon the other. You walk out of every season with 11 of them. I don't care if it's 20-6 or 38-7. I prefer the latter, but 20-6 will work just fine if you're winning, if you're just winning over and over and over again. And he disagreed. His thought was, no, you won't win recruiting battles that way. You won't continue to sustain that success if all your wins are uglified like that, unless you're in the Big Ten and it's, weather permitting type thing. You got to throw it around the lot in Florida. I think that it's helpful, admittedly. I still don't know where I stand on the big picture. I think winning is winning. But what I would say is it's helpful that we run a dynamic offense and you can really service running backs, receivers, tight ends in this offense, and obviously quarterbacks. He said it when he got the job. This is an offense built around playmakers. Obviously you're going to cater to what those skill sets are. And he's done that. He did it at Memphis, and he's trying to run the offense this way now. He wants to run. I like that there's a huge physical element, but they have the ability to be dynamic. And I do think that you're seeing it now. Look at the tight end that you just mentioned a yes from at Georgia, 5-star kid. You've brought in some guys that are going to elevate the status of that room even more this year when they see it on Saturdays. Other tight ends are going to be like, hey, now, Georgia's cornered the market on that. Look at how good their tight ends have been year over year. They got the best one in the country currently, maybe the best of all time. So here we sit. More aspects of this offense are going to appeal to a larger swath of player in the richest recruiting area in the country, in the Southeast, when they take the field this year and average 45-plus points a game and have a balance of offense. They can kill you on the ground. They can kill you through the air. That is going to lead to much better classes more consistently.
Yeah, just think about how the reputation has flipped position by position on offense. And it's easy to point to running back first, because even when we didn't have an offensive line, we didn't have a good quarterback, and we had no receivers. We certainly didn't have any tight ends either that were going to be drafted in the top 2 rounds in the NFL. We were still explosive. Basically, you had none of the ingredients necessary to have a good or explosive running game. Was it good? No. Was it explosive? Yes. Okay, so if I'm a running back, that gets my attention. You're telling me that if you get anybody with a pulse in here to block for me or throw the ball or catch the ball, I'm going to go from being an explosive player in your offense to somebody that's going to be a featured piece and talked about as a tailback. Great. Now, since then, quarterback, developing of Jordan Travis. That development is unbelievable. It's overnight, and you combine it with, Ira did a piece on it a week ago. We ran a video on Warchant TV about seeing progression in terms of stats, facts, and figures. quarterbacks in Mike Norvell's offense as they get into the offense for a second year and a third year. And you look at those those touchdown to interception ratios get even more healthy. Quarterback ratings go up, completion percentage, yardage totals. Okay, so it's not just a Memphis thing or a group of five thing. You can now do that at the Power Five level. Great. As a quarterback, you have my attention. Wide receiver, through the transfer portal, they have opened the door to all the possibilities. And look at what they did last year. They already brought in Hakeem Williams and Dre Jacobs, Goldie Lawrence, and this next class is going to be big. So your reputation is flipped there. And perhaps most importantly, offensive line. This is the most healthy the reputation for the offensive line has been at Florida State, maybe since I was in elementary school. I mean, honestly, if you're a top-tier offensive lineman, this has to be on your short list. We were hoping to be on the top 15 list for big-time recruits. Now we're top 5 machines. Looking at these type of blue-chip players that want to come to Florida State, either as tackle or guard or whatever. It's unbelievable how the reputation has changed in the recruiting world for Florida State on offense. Every single position, this is now a destination.
Got to happen on defense. You've got it on the defensive line and at defensive end right now. Do you have a reputation of bringing in and developing elite linebacker play and in the secondary? That is the big question mark surrounding this team. By the way, Briley, yeah, I think in an ancillary way it's true. He wrote, so the primary job of every head coach is to ruin the lives of other head coaches. Got it. That's the byproduct of kicking their ass on the field and off of it. Yes. You ruin their lives.
Yeah.
By winning repeatedly in recruiting and on the field. That is, yes, in essence, the definition of ruining their lives, their careers. Beat them enough. In every facet.
Yeah.
In the ugliness of recruiting, in the X's and O's of a game, and then obviously any head-to-head matchup you can win.
You could say that for the, what would you say, the sociopathic of the head coaching community, that might be their first objective, is that they want to piss off everybody else. You could say that it's an ancillary byproduct of developing.
It's a chicken or the egg thing, man. If you win a lot of games, you're pissing people off. If you win everybody over in recruiting, then you're going to win a lot of games.
If a coach like a Nick Saban or a Kirby Smart or a Dabo or whoever is not indifferent towards Florida State, which is what they have been, indifferent, but they're actually pissed off by Florida State, yeah, I think that means that by definition, good things are happening.
Yeah. Love question. What would I have to do to incentivize you to make a big board bet, you and I, for the Nuggets and the Heat? You know I like the Nuggets to win the series easily. What do I need to do to get you to take the Heat?
Oh, man.
Is there? How could I think on it a little bit? A little tall boys bet for us?
I mean, the exchange rate has to be absurd because it's
2-1, 3-1.
It's 5-1 in Vegas. They're a 5-1 favorite.
Can you pick a golfer? Have you looked at the Memorial leaderboard? If you haven't, let's pick a golfer. Go head to head on that.
Oh man, you just want
feeling
to get
froggy today. I'm feeling froggy. What do you got?
Well, it's the calendar turn to June. It's your birthday month.
Birthday month. Tomorrow's my son's birthday. It's Clark Cameron's birthday. He will turn 13. I'll have 2 teenagers in the house at the same time. How about them apples? Woo! I'm glad I'm bald.
You were thrilled for this.
I'm not.
What does he want for his 13th birthday?
He always wants money. Everybody wants money. That's what everybody wants. It's just money, money, money. But I can't blame him. You get what you want when you get the money.
What does he like it, though? In the form of cash, Venmo, gift cards?
He doesn't have Venmo.
He doesn't have Venmo
No,
yet?
He does not have Venmo. He likes, cash as king, obviously. You know what happens with cash? What happens with cash when Clark gets it is within a day or two, money burns a hole in his pocket. I have 2 very opposite kids. My oldest kid has saved every nickel he's ever received. He's probably sitting on $50,000. I don't know it. I'm just guessing. It's crazy. He has a safe in his room.
He has a safe?
Well, it's not really like a real safe, like
piggy bank.
Yeah, it's like but yeah, it's got a lock on it. I mean, the whole thing. And so,
is it a Woo Pig Suey bank?
It's not. But he cracks me up. So I've given him money. His mother's given him money. His great grandmother, who's still alive and kicking ass all the time, gives him money. His grandma, granddad, he's fond over. Both children are. That's what grandparents do. Anyhow, the point is, they send him money for special occasions, whatever. He got money when he was going to New York and D.C. during the school year. And so I say to him all the time, because he'll say, well, I would like to buy this, or I'd like to buy that, or I'd like to, Dad, can you get me this or get me that? Son, why don't you reach in that bank of yours over there where you've got all this money that you've never spent? If you want a shirt or you want this pair of shoes, those LeBrons you talk about all the time, go buy the damn LeBrons yourself. Why do I got to get everything? What are you doing with all that money? Well, I'm saving it. For what? I don't know. He doesn't want to spend it. The other one, son, save the money. Why do you just got $100 like 2 months ago. Why is it gone? Oh, I bought a poster and some color shoelaces for these shoes that I want. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So they're very opposite. But the other thing that happens when he gets cash, hey, Dad, I want to get this add-on to Grand Theft Auto, and it's $33. Okay? Well, you know, your card is the one connected to the game, so I'm going to just charge your card, and here's $33.
Oh, but he actually gives you the cash?
He gives me the cash.
Okay,
He does the deal.
good.
Yeah, he gives me the cash. He'll walk in and be like, here's $33. I'm adding something on your card when you get a notice that your credit card's been charged.
Congratulations, son. You got the modified paintball gun that's now
Yeah.
a death machine.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah. And then I'll hear him in the room just blowing up the world. I'm like, okay, this is healthy. This seems healthy. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
A cup of Joe, Java, brew, go-go beans, brain water, liquid lightning, wakey juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground. The bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, you know, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay.
You know?
Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
This is Tyler from Bear No Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere.
Save big time in the new year and get $1,200 off select new units.
Online at BearNoAC.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Crawfordville Auto and Tires remix, y'all. Crawfordville Auto Repair and Tires. Automotive service, there is no one to find there. Tires and struts and wrecks and pinions. ASB certified technicians. 12-month, 12K guarantee. Same-day service, usually. Engine rebuilds done complete. Brakes and shots, that's no small feat. Keep your AC blowing cool. CV joints emissions too. Open weekdays till 6 at night. Give them a chance, they'll treat you right. Crawfordville Auto Repair and Tires. 2170 Crawfordville Highway, Crawfordville, Florida.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
No, that's not true. You can't break down softball. There's not a lot to break down. I think
Big
we
day,
know,
man.
Yeah, it was a big deal. Listen, there are two different ways of having this discussion. Are we excited that Florida State is taking on Oklahoma City or Oklahoma State, and that we're obviously familiar with that team, and we're in a venue that everybody seeks to be, Women's College World Series? Yeah, we are. It seems to me that, if your superstar pitcher pitches like a superstar, you're going to win. That's kind of the way it goes. If Cat pitches exceptionally well, we win.
This is a loaded lineup, though. Oklahoma State.
So was Georgia's.
So was Georgia's.
Got told to sit.
They did. There you go.
Sit.
All right.
Got told to sit.
Played him for 3 in Stillwater a couple months
Sit your
ago.
ass.
They took 2 or 3 from us.
Yes, they did in Stillwater.
They scored 5, 9, and 3 in those games.
Mm-hmm. So my point is maybe all the more relevant if Catherine Sandercock goes out and dominates a lethal lineup as she did while pitching a perfect game, against Georgia, then hey.
Well, yeah. That was South Carolina. She pitched.
Oh, well, right. Sorry, yeah. But I mean, that's my point. If you get every one of these teams have typically, sometimes more, a dominant number one. That's one thing that you notice every year when you watch softball. The sport is better than it's ever been. The athleticism is better than it's ever been. The games are fun to watch. Defensively, you watch girls make plays, the likes of which we didn't see 20, 25 years ago. It's a fun sport now in a way it never was. Got it. Agreed. The ball's hit out of the infield now. There's real power. There's all those things. But one thing doesn't change about bat ball sports, and that is a dominant pitcher wins. Typically, dominant pitching wins. And you've got a dominant pitcher. If she pitches well, you got a real shot to win. If she doesn't, obviously you won't. That's it. That's true when we get to the postseason in Major League Baseball, Tom. It's like, all right, look, I get it. You scored the most amount of runs, you hit the most home runs, you did all those things. Well, a dominant ace who misses bats eliminates all of that. And I would say the same in softball. I know I'm simplifying it, but I think pretty much that's the way to do it. There aren't elements of this that I'm going to break down like you would a bullpen in baseball. It's not the same thing.
No, agreed. I would just say, for Cat's sake tonight, it would have to be a deviation. I get it. It was 2.5 months ago that we went to Stillwater on that roadie, but in 8 innings, she gave up across 2 appearances against Oklahoma State. She gave up 7 runs. That's just not going to cut it.
No, we'll lose. We'll lose. It's just that simple. So I was kind of making fun of ourselves here. I mean, join Jeff and Tom as they break down softball. Well, there you go. Cat's got to kick ass. There's your breakdown. And I'm not even kidding. That's it. I mean, I think you'll do enough to scratch a run or 2 across the plate, maybe more, but you've got to dominate on the hill. And she's that kind of pitcher. Obviously has to be brimming with confidence going into this game. I understand the opponent and what they were able to do her 2 months ago. Do you think she's lacking confidence now after what she's done in the postseason? No chance, no how. As experienced as she is?
Yeah, what I'm interested to see is first sign of trouble that kind of stuff, does Lonnie yank Cat in that moment? Because softball's different. You can bring him back later.
Yeah.
I just want to know, based upon the scout, based upon what they saw with these first matchups, is there something that Lonnie knows that Oklahoma State has for Cat that maybe other teams don't? And if there is first and second, one out in the second inning, is that enough for Lonnie to have somebody ready to go to get out of a jam and then they'll bring her back later? Or do you just kind of ride with it?
It seems unlikely, right? That in that scenario,
Lonnie's been aggressive over the years.
She's very aggressive. Sometimes people will criticize her for that, and it frustrates folks. She's very liberal with the use of that bullpen. Yeah.
You know how it goes in College World Series settings, both in Omaha and in Oklahoma City. You get in that winner's bracket, and the likelihood of you coming out of the winner's bracket is, huge. You lose tonight.
Yeah, it's
and the
all
likelihood
about
of you making that best of three is
you got to go to the
very
winner.
difficult.
That nothing changes. That's where it's very similar in college and in baseball and softball. You got to be in the winner's bracket.
But the thing is, how does that impact the way you manage? You got to manage this. With the utmost amount of cutthroat in you, as Lonnie or as whoever's out there in Omaha. You micromanage, I think, a little bit more in the situation because every run matters all the more. You got to give yourself a crack from the winner's side. We'll see. Again, it's been a long time since these two teams matched up, and it looks like the bats have come to life for us a little bit more. Certainly, they weren't for the regional, much better against Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you probably need to, there's a race to in Oklahoma City, I think the race is to 4 tonight. I think you need to scratch 4 across.
Race is to 4, says Tom Lang. All right. I think the race is to 2.
Woo.
We're going to dominate their ass.
Sounds like a New Jersey Devils playoff game.
Get you some of that right there.
Circa 1999.
Little 2-1 win for the Noles. We're on the edge.
That'll be an on the edge couple
hours. On
hours.
the edge. Nervous as can be in the first day of June.
You know what's funny about just consumption of sports is that this year with the pitch clock and MLB,
it's been great.
One of the things that had separated softball before that change was that it was a lot faster of a game.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at softball saying, hey,
come on,
speed it up.
Yeah.
Because Kat will take her time. She'll pace around. She'll walk the ball to each base between pitches if it's not going right. And you're just saying, let's move it along here. Sometimes a 7-inning game now of softball can take longer than most 9-inning games in baseball. So hopefully they look at the pitch clock in this sport as well. It's just funny how spoiled you get. Last year, I would have said, oh, softball, what a breath of fresh air. The game moves along. And now, because of what MLB has done successfully, like, man, a lot of standing around. Let's go. Let's move it along.
It's still pretty quick, though.
It is.
The investment
yes.
you make is that the time commitment's not nearly as bad as it used to be. Hey, really quick on that note, as we go to break, and then I'll excite everybody by talking about TV contracts. Something to note here, Tom, that the Pittsburgh Pirates entered June a game above 500.
Mm-hmm. Which is right there in that division.
Well, right, yeah.
Sorry-ass Central.
Yeah, sorry-ass Central. If only it had been the sorry-ass Central back when we were winning 100 games and not winning the division with 100 wins.
That's right. I had 101 last year. We lost. Found a way.
It hurts your feelings, man.
It does.
You're like, come on, seriously? Yeah, to Tom's point, the Buccos are 28-27, one game out of first place in the National League Central currently.
And the
Just
Brewers,
one game out of first place,
who have a run differential in the negative 20s.
They do, and the Pirates have a plus run differential, so it's a little bit more sustainable.
That's right.
A little bit more, just a little bit.
You're going to get to your birthday.
Well, let's go easy.
With the Pirates being in contention in the division.
Probably, yeah. It feels that way.
It's only 10 more days.
Feels that way. A winning record on the road. Nobody goes out there to the Robert Nutting led PNC Park anymore. They're frustrated. We have done all of this without our very best player. So that is also a kudos, Buccos. Kudos.
In the ilk of the rom-com fans from the early 20th century, 21st, I mean. Could they call it Nutting Hill?
Oh, but
no.
Well done.
No. All right.
Pirates have a better record than Director Matthews' Phillies. Just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah, the Mets do too.
A lot of people do. Phillies are struggling. A lot of people do. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Leon County Sheriff's Office held a ceremony Wednesday to honor 4 deputies and a K-9 for giving their life for public safety. The Sheriff's Office unveiled a wall of honor in memory of 5 who died in the line of duty. The ceremony ended with the laying of the wreath and a permanent dedication to those heroes placed outside the Sheriff's Office. It could take weeks to months to identify remains unearthed by construction crews near Fairview Middle School Tuesday. The skeletal remains were uncovered by crews replacing water mains near Zilla Street and Tram Road. The medical examiner's office has retrieved the remains and will be analyzing them in hopes of identifying them and pinpointing any obvious cause of death. The remains were found beneath the paved roadway. Detectives are focused now on learning more about the property's history, what it was used for, and how long ago the road was paved to try to figure out how long the remains may have been there. This is Rachel and A with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun this afternoon with a chance for scattered thunderstorms. High of 84, winds out of the northeast, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, chance for scattered thunderstorms, lows level off around 67. Partly cloudy skies again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 89. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 79.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
A bed of Zaxby's crinkle fries, hand-breaded chicken, hardwood smoked bacon, and buttermilk ranch. It's the perfect comfort food. Pillow sold separately. Chicken bacon ranch loaded fries. Woo, saucy.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Conversation that centers around our fear regarding the SEC and Big Ten TV contracts and the source of major discontent for those of us in the ACC and the long-term projections of what it all means and what's sustainable and what isn't and what FSU and teams like Clemson need to do. And, you pay attorneys or something like that and you fight this in court. There's a thought to do all of that to get out of the grant of rights. You could end up, if things don't look sustainable long term, you could be jumping out of the frying pan into the fire, right? If things change on the media landscapes and television contracts. Well, here's a story in which that just happened, and it's kind of interesting. I don't know if you watch this out there. Folks are baseball fans may have read this story, and I know you're really astute when it comes to stories involving media, television contracts, cord cutting, those kinds of things, because we're always judging the landscape.
And the numbers for those things are unbelievable.
Right. Remember, we learned all this during the pandemic. We learned all this during the Dodgers deal and then the Rays thing where we were like, well, it's an empty stadium, but it doesn't matter because they're making this much from the Bally Sports deal and all that.
Right. And the Dodgers have their own network, and the deal that they have, or it's whatever it is, Sportsnet out west, whatever the group is, if you look at the breakdown of how much every single game costs to
Right,
broadcast,
right.
it's paid to the Dodgers for the rights to the game, you'd have to do something, I think it's in the 7 figures every game in sales in order to break even with an RSN deal. How are you going to make millions of dollars
Right.
worth of ad revenue in every game? If there's 162 of them, that's where I use the term unbelievable in the literal sense. I don't know that actually is a thing.
You don't believe it's sustainable?
No, I don't.
It's buying on credit.
I think so.
Okay, here we go. The most important sports story of the next decade may have just begun in living rooms across San Diego. On Tuesday, Diamond Sports Group, via its subsidiary, Bally Sports San Diego, broadcast its last ever Padres game. Diamond lost the rights to San Diego's games because it failed to make required payments to the team. Moving a few steps backward in the dance, Diamond failed to make the payments after filing for bankruptcy and filed for bankruptcy as it was facing severe debt because of broadcasting rights fees. All right, so you're in on this, Tom. Here we go. Television rights fees drive sports. You already know this. Rights fees fuel all elements of sports, from salaries to stadium improvements. The share of rights fees as a percentage of teams' overall revenue varies, but if you go back to 2020, there was a 538 story on how much teams stood to lose during COVID, and they put that figure for Major League Baseball teams at an average of about 22%. That's a reasonable starting point, 22%. Wow.
Yeah.
Teams, leagues, and broadcasters are all in effect buying on credit, that credit being the hope that fans will justify those astronomical rights fees by continuing to show the same enthusiasm that they're showing today. And if stories ranging from the housing crisis to the conversations around your home dinner table tell us anything, it's that buying on credit is not sustainable long term. Consider, for instance, the state of the Padres broadcast situation. Major League Baseball will take over broadcasting duties effective immediately. I want to repeat that, by the way, because this gets interesting. Major League Baseball will take over broadcasting duties effective immediately. They have, in essence, cut the middleman. It's at a cost of $19.99 a month. Major League Baseball, obviously, would be just fine centralizing its broadcast operations, keeping more revenue in-house and redistributing it more equally amongst its teams. That entire business model is predicated on the expectation that fans will be willing to pay one way or another to continue to watch baseball. And, well, I guess you could argue, and many do, will they? For those that say, I'm not so sure, well, they could point to the fact that Diamond didn't declare bankruptcy because they had too many customers. Diamond, meanwhile, is the canary in the coal mine. It had been a highly lucrative coal mine for a while. Diamond holds the broadcasting rights to 14 Major League Baseball teams, 16 NBA teams, 12 NHL teams, and unfortunately for them, a few WNBA teams that nobody watches. If you think this is the only set of costly rights cash-strapped broadcaster will relinquish, well, then feel free to pay $19.99 a month to tell you what you want to hear. Broadcast entities all the way up to and included ESPN are trying to reckon with the impact of cord cutting, diminished revenue streams on their existing broadcast commitments. The bill's coming due, and the money's not coming in the way it once did. We've had this conversation.
Yes, it's one of those things where you look at the SEC TV deal or the Big Ten TV deal, and you could rightfully ask, is that money sustainable from the network side?
Screaming it from the mountaintops, many say, no, it's not. It's not going to be there by the time we get there.
Right.
That's the argument. Sports have long been the most valuable broadcast property. We all know this on television because it's the last bastion of mandatory real-time viewing. Anybody we talk to, you and I talk about shows that we love. Well, you might wait a year to start Succession now that all the hullabaloo is over and we know what a popular show it was. It may take you 5 years to watch Ted Lasso. It took me how long to watch Better Call Saul? I regret not having started sooner. It's a tremendous show. The point is, we all do this. It took you forever to watch Breaking Bad.
It did.
So sports was the last bastion of must-watch real-time. I'm not watching tonight's NBA Finals Game 1 a week from now. I'm watching it tonight because I don't, or maybe worst-case scenario, if I'm really tired, tomorrow morning really early. But pretty much in real time.
Yeah, I would agree. Tonight, probably you might start it late, let it get settled,
right,
and then you jump in the middle of the second quarter.
So the atomization of the sports broadcast universe may benefit the teams and broadcasters themselves. Subscription revenue is more reliable than advertising revenue. But subscription revenue rolls in only if you have subscribers. And again, many sports fans are not inclined to add a raft of new subscription fees to their monthly bills for the sake of a few ball games. I don't think that's true in the SEC and the Big Ten. I think they are. I think the mad, hardcore, can't miss sports fans of college football are in the South and in the Big Ten, and they would pay that fee.
Yeah, I think what they would do and what they are doing now is they're paying the rights fees for a shorter period of time. I think what the hybrid reality is for a lot of college sports fans, and we see this on the message boards of warchant.com, I will add, writes the subscriber to Warchant, I will add YouTube TV for football season, but then when it's over, I'm
Take
done
it away.
with it.
Yeah.
So you don't have this fixed, because cable companies will lock you in for a year or 2 years or whatever. You don't have this fixed revenue that you can depend upon for 12 months.
Right.
Now it's getting shrunk down to 4 or 5. And real quick, let me run the numbers from the most egregious example of a TV contract in baseball. And I'm going to use simpler numbers. But the Dodgers' recent TV deal, most recent extension, $8 billion over 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
That amounts to $320 million per year, which amounts to, at 150 games, because they're on national TV a lot, $2.1 million per game is what it costs their RSN to broadcast their games. Now, some of that they recoup from, people that have cable companies or DirecTV or whatever, and that's how they get their money. But you think about the amount of spots they've got to put in every game to recoup that amount of money. It just doesn't seem like it's sustainable.
On a micro level, remember when we were at Clear Channel, now iHeart, the cost of carrying FSU football was astronomical. Of course, it's not now.
In the last decade, too.
It was astronomical. So then here was the worst part about it. If you took on the licensing fee, I'll just say $100,000. I started in radio at a time where it was much more. But anyhow, let's just say $100,000 to carry Florida State. Well, here's the part. Florida State screws you because you pay the $100,000, all right? You pay the $100,000.
It was a lot more.
And then you gotta sell advertising to the games.
Yeah.
But they have an entity selling advertising within the broadcast, and they're competing with you for the same dollars. So you can never get it back.
Right.
You're gonna get screwed twice.
That is
in a nutshell, that's how that works.
I love the inside baseball that you just divulged.
Yeah.
Probably safe to say that, this frequency is not purchasing
those
rights anyway,
they wouldn't anyhow, but that's what they did.
How it works.
That's what they did.
That's 100% how it works.
That is 100% how it works. Leagues bank on your loyalty, expecting you to follow them down the toll road of pay TV. And for the big ticket events, they're probably right. You'll tune in to watch the Super Bowl, even if it's on cable TV. You might be willing to subscribe to Peacock TV to watch this year's wild card playoff game and then cancel before the next month's fees hit. You might even commit to Amazon for the weekly Thursday night football game because
you're a lunatic.
Well, what the hell? There's free shipping thrown in too. But that's the NFL. That is the NFL, the most popular sports entity in the world.
If I didn't already have Prime,
I already do.
And I had a choice of
I take it to the bar if I really need to see the game.
The Thursday night slate?
I know, it's been terrible.
No, thank you.
Will you pay to watch Major League Baseball games in May? The answer to you and me, probably.
Yeah.
A lot of the country. What about NBA games in November? I don't know. The occasional hockey game, golf major, or tennis? I think we know that en masse. We know the answer to that is no. Then you would say is an existential crisis for sports. The impending potential exodus of fans who don't want to pay. Older fans may not want to pay for games they recall receiving for free. God, talk to an old person about streaming. Jesus. It's impossible for them to even get the concept, let alone agree to do what you're asking them to do to see the game. What, I should get that free as part of my... What do you mean? So you have that, right? Bundled into larger cable subscription and all that. More ominously, younger fans who never got accustomed to the joys of a summer evening with baseball on TV, for example, might not know what they're missing, may not have as much incentive to spend $19.99 a month on it, or go to the trouble of searching out a free illegal stream to find out. In the grand scheme, sports on TV aren't going anywhere. We know that. You'll always be able to watch anything you want if you want it bad enough. But a market correction is most assuredly coming, and the ripple effects will impact every single wallet from team owners to superstars to you. Good article. I paraphrased much of it, read directly from it as well. Jay Busby, Yahoo.
But it also, yes, there's a good piece in The Athletic today about how, once again, surprise, surprise, the haves in baseball are going to control the future of this. Because MLB could pivot after this situation with Diamond Sports and say, all right, we want to control all 30 teams.
Well, that's what I just said. They would happy to do this in-house. Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying, why these teams like the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Mets, and the Dodgers hold the cards is because they make so much money off of it that it would not benefit them.
Right.
And you have to have unanimity in order to get this thing to work. Because if you have an MLB streaming package that has the Rays and the Marlins and the D-backs and the Padres, I mean, you might have some fans, but if it does not have the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers and the Mets and the Cubs, like who's going to buy that package for the lesser teams on a grand scale to make it worth their time?
Mm-hmm.
When you still would have to pay for Yes Network Plus or Nessun Plus. You wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I would buy SNY. The Braves, let's say they have their own TV deal too. If you're a Braves fan and you could get direct-to-consumer Braves games on whatever the future is, or you could get these other 15 teams in the MLB package, I think you'd pick the Braves. You wouldn't buy. So everybody's got to be in agreement with MLB in order for this whole thing to work.
Right. Fun to watch and speculate and project. Obviously, as we're in the midst of fighting for more and a much bigger piece of the pie. Well done, TPE. Our number 2 forthcoming, Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is your stomach speaking. It's time to eat again. We met deadlines and closed out the workday like a boss. The last thing you want to do is cook dinner. Even worse, pick up any fast food garbage. We need something good, something local. We need foodiestakeout.com. An all-star lineup of local spots like Smitty's Tap House, El Jalisco, Jerry's Cafe, Hangar 38, Metro Deli, and more. It's so easy. Just choose pickup or delivery, and let's eat the good stuff. I'm growling already. Visit foodiestakeout.com.
Hi, this is Jamie McClenny from Trek Financial in Tallahassee. Managing downside risk in your portfolio is one of the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement. Trillions of dollars in stimulus from the Federal Reserve and D.C. politicians, combined with zero interest rates, have propped up financial markets since the financial crisis ended in 2009. The Fed recently ended quantitative easing and has started to raise interest rates at a time when the global economy was already slowing. Have you considered what another 50% correction in the stock market would do to your retirement plan? If you're concerned about where this all might be headed and would like to find out about the potential benefits of an active risk management strategy for your portfolio, give me a call at 850-900-5200 and schedule a time for a review of your portfolio from an active risk management perspective.
Make Jamie your first call for a second opinion. Investment advisory services are offered through Trek Financial, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Honey, I just got a text from Dave. He wants us to come over for a barbecue. What's our excuse for not going?
Oh, no need for an excuse anymore because Dave got a new grill from Hearth and Patio.
Oh, thank goodness. Dave, we will be happy to join y'all this weekend, and congrats on the new grill from Hearth and Patio. My wife said she would bring potato salad.
Hearth and Patio invites you to elevate your grilling game this year with one of their amazing grills from Fire Magic, Royal Master, or Blaze Grills. Call them today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, making barbecues great in the Sunshine State.
Honey, Dave said no raisins in the potato salad this time.
Call them today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update. Juice Reel, the betting intelligence tool that's making better bettors. Open the App Store and get your hands on Juice Reel. Start betting smarter. Juice, R-E-E-L. Juice Reel. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The NBA Finals getting underway tonight as the Denver Nuggets play host to the Miami Heat. In tonight's game, Denver a 9-point favorite. The over-under has been set at 219. Overall, the Nuggets are the favorites to win this series. They're overwhelming favorites, paying out at minus 460 compared to Miami, who pays out at plus 350. Nikola Jokic of the Nuggets, the favorite to win the Finals MVP at minus 340. Jimmy Butler is the second best odds at plus 430. For the latest odds all the time, visit vsin.com. I'm Matt Pauley. This has been your Action Update on Tallahassee's Real Talk station, Real Talk 93.3.
Your friendly neighborhood bar and grill just got a whole lot closer to home. You can now order delicious Smitty's Tap House and Grill for delivery directly to your doorstep. Just visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com, click the Order Online button, and choose pickup or delivery. Enjoy Smitty's famous handmade pretzel with beer cheese, juicy pub burger, or even the amazing schnitzel sandwich, delivered fresh right to your doorstep. Support local and order online today for takeout or delivery at Smitty'sTapHouse.com, where everybody knows his name.
Discover the taste of Peru at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. Con amor y pasión, with love and passion, Café de Martín is a fine Peruvian dining experience in an approachable, comfortable, cultural-rich space built for creating memories to last a lifetime. Enjoy happy hour daily with a full bar, handcrafted cocktails, beers on draft and bottle, paired with a selection of Peruvian tapas like crispy fried yuca with house-made huancaína sauce, carefully selected charcuterie boards, a selection of fresh ceviches, and so much more. It's Café de Martín and El Bar. Escape to Peru, a country of great culture, beauty, and food right here in the capital city. Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
A bed of Zaxby's crinkle fries, hand-breaded chicken, hardwood smoked bacon, and buttermilk ranch. It's the perfect comfort food. Pillow sold separately. Chicken bacon ranch loaded fries. Woo, saucy!
Vaccine preventable diseases still exist in the United States and all around the world. You have the power to protect yourself, your family, and your community. To learn more, visit vaccinateyourfamily.org.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
Real Talk fact number 44. Banging your head against the wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station. Broadcast Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You see that the Magellan device there that they've got going. People are obsessed with the Titanic. I've noticed this. It never ends with the Titanic. All right, they made a movie. We've seen 700 James Cameron specials on it. We all know where it is. Every time you flip over there on like National Geographic or something, they're down there looking at the damn Titanic again, kind of resenting the Titanic, oddly enough.
I agree with you.
Tired of it.
Growing up in Tampa Bay, it seemed like every day they would tell you the Titanic exhibit is back at St. Petersburg's Museum.
Man, I get it.
And I thought it left, or I thought it never left. But it's back. Like, wait a minute. When did it leave? The Titanic exhibit. You can stand out there. The stars will be arranged just as they were. I mean, seriously, that was the shtick.
Oh my God. The reason I brought it up was I wasn't interested in the Titanic, but what I was interested in is that they now are they're sweeping the floor of the Titanic with this high-tech camera that can find all the dead bodies and what they were wearing. I like that. It's morbid. That's good. That's more interesting than the boat itself.
Let's find all the survivor.
It's been forever. No, so more than 100 years. 1912, right? Was the Titanic? Anyhow, so here's the deal. Somebody was wearing, I think this is kind of cool, just an aside, I brought it up, a Megalodon tooth necklace that died on the ship. How about that? The eclectic kind of out there individual, like, hey, check it out. I'm on the Titanic and I own a Megalodon, Megalodon, or whatever the hell.
Somebody
necklace.
had
What do you think of that?
a Pompeii dagger. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's
Disaster followed them everywhere.
Megalodons were the fastest of all the sharks, and they could easily eat like a orca. Like that's how big they were. These things are massive. You've seen famous footage of the Jaws people stand in. Like if you go to any of the great whatchamacallits. So the one in Atlanta's got it. Tampa's got it as well.
Aquarium?
Yeah, the massive aquariums. I feel like there was another name for the bigger ones, but I'm losing it. Anyhow, they'll usually have these Megalodon full jaws that you stand in and you realize how big those things were. It would have sucked. If you could be a fly on a wall for a time in the world's history, I think that'd be it for me. I'd want to go see the dinosaurs and the Megalodons and all that other stuff. That'd be cool.
Read something the other day that blew my mind. And thank you.
23 million years ago is when the Megalodon lived, by the way.
Yeah, carbon dating and so forth.
Which is awesome.
But we are closer to the Tyrannosaurus Rex in history than the Stegosaurus is to the Tyrannosaurus
Really?
Rex.
So they were there that long.
Yeah.
Well, that makes you realize on a clock, and we've been here for like 5 seconds.
That's correct.
Yeah, and they were there a long time.
6,000 years probably.
Before that meteor hit. That's a toughie. If you're on the other side of the globe, you're like, what was that?
Your death.
Your death.
It's approaching.
Yeah. So, by the way, it's amazing, right? So this thing, the Magellan, goes around the bottom. Like 100 things have been called the Magellan. Go along the bottom there, and they're like, look at that. It's a Megalodon tooth necklace. Now they can check the records. Like Susan Smith from Aberdeen. I made that up. But there you go.
Good guess.
She's the one.
When is Susan going to make a comeback as a name?
I know a few Susans. It's been a minute since we've met a new Susan.
Suze, but not Susan.
Yeah. I don't like the name.
No?
No.
Not a big fan?
Not a big fan, no. Hey, let's welcome our friends from Zaxby's aboard. Hey, how about that? We lead in with the Megalodon conversation. Seems like everyone's got a chicken sandwich, so how do you know which one you want to try? Luckily, one sandwich towers above all the others in size and in deliciousness. Fun word to say, deliciousness. Delicious itself is a fun word to say. Zaxby's signature sandwich. It's an extra large hand-breaded filet, 3 thick cut. Oh, look at the size of these pickle chips. They're huge.
They are.
Thick cut on a split top bun. Comes with your choice of Zax sauce or spicy Zax sauce. It's delicious. It's only at your neighborhood Tallahassee Zaxby's. It's huge, huge sandwich. Your Tallahassee Zaxby's a proud Golden Chief booster for 18 years, going on 19 years. Go Noles.
Yeah. And that is the taste of football season. We've come to expect that from our friends at Zaxby's, and it is delightful. The giant trays to take home. I'm going to start football season a little early, I think.
Yeah, you enter into heavy season.
Yeah, that's right.
A little early. Yeah,
But then it's Sunday. You're like,
so delicious. Yeah.
What am I going to do for food? Oh, yeah. We got the giant tray of Zaxby's fingers. Throw a couple in the toaster oven, you're all set.
So I saw in the chat before we went to break, I think James B. made note of the fact that Bill Connolly wrote an article that promoted some sort of FSU to the Big East with somebody else type thing. And the funny thing about that is,
Big East.
Well, now, so listen, here's the real article that Connolly wrote were all these suggestions for realignment. And it made me laugh because it's not something that's going to happen. It's outside the box ideas to get college conference realignment right. And he writes, college football's great realignment has been on pause in recent months after the seismic moves we saw in recent summers, Oklahoma and Texas announcing they were joining the SEC, USC and UCLA announcing they were joining the Big Ten. There aren't all that many conceivable earthquakes remaining, but with the ACC unsettled, members of the Pac-12 continuing to wait for numbers on a new media deal, and the Big 12 looking to do something bold, discontent and uncertainty are at high levels. With the ACC's long grant of rights deal still legally impenetrable, he says. I don't think so.
Is that right?
And then he writes, at the moment.
Yeah.
And therefore, the thought of ACC programs leaving for another conference remaining unrealistic in the short term. The next if-then moment is pretty well understood. I'll tell you what I understand, Bill, and I feel for you. Your boss has said, hey, write an article, make it up out of thin air about realignment because we've got nothing. It's June. We got nothing, Bill. I need something.
We want you to go Kuiper McShay on this one, Bill. You think you can do it?
I can't do it, guys. That's not why you brought me in. Why? Why do I have to do this? Just do it. We got nothing.
What if we had an article where the Big Ten and the SEC trade two programs? So it's an even 2-for-2 trade. How would it look? Who would it be?
So that's what he did, and he wrote this article, and you can go and enjoy the fun he had with this, but it's all in theory, and it's all, theoretical moves that could be interesting. Anybody can do that. I'm not knocking him. I'm sure he was tasked with the responsibility of doing that. And so what he wrote was, colleague David Hale had an excellent Twitter thread recently about the ACC's current conundrum because of the way realignment works and because there's no such thing as alliances or loyalty in the realignment process. That part's true. The ACC basically has no strong options when it comes to preventing any of its teams from leaving for the Big Ten or the SEC if the opportunity would arise. A success-driven revenue model can help a smidge, but even the league's most successful schools will make a pittance compared to the SEC and Big Ten schools in the coming years. You can bend over backward to appease Florida State or Clemson, but if either gets an invitation from the SEC or the Big Ten, they're gone, writes Connolly. That is correct. That is correct. Meanwhile, the biggest theoretical moves the ACC could hope to make are unrealistic. Notre Dame clearly isn't joining the league full-time. No, and by the way, our commissioner got played. They had nowhere to play during COVID, nobody to schedule. They would have been screwed, and we were like, come on in. The water's nice. For this 1 year, you can play an all-ACC schedule, join the league, even win the conference title if you'd like. Come on in. Good times. It won't cost you anything.
And their social media even went LeBron on the city of Cleveland to the ACC when they painted it on the field. Remember? They took a pot shot.
Yeah.
This is uncomfortable. I think is what they tweeted out, and it's a photo of their logo on the field.
Yes, they made fun of us. And then, in addition, played it to the hilt. And then when the ACC turned around just a couple years later and went, we need you, Notre Dame. We need you. We're getting kicked about the head and neck. We've got little opportunity to succeed without the power of the brand that is Notre Dame. And when you had to have it, who was there for you? It's inevitable, friends. Please join. Please. They went, hey, here's a picture of my ass. That's what Notre Dame said to Jim Phillips.
Oh, good one.
No, you jokester.
I
Does
love
that mean you're in? So that's what happened.
Jim Phillips is Mickey Rourke, the end of The Wrestler. And the whole world is Marissa Tomei.
Oh, my God.
The whole world is Marissa Tomei saying, oh, my God, he's going to do it again.
My man.
He's going to do it. And then here he is, Jim Phillips going, slapping the arms. He's on the top of the turnbuckle.
It's over. Here comes death.
I'm going to get Notre Dame this time.
I promise you. Notre Dame clearly isn't joining full-time. There are no other huge brands to add. ESPN probably isn't negotiating its media deal currently to make everyone happier. It feels like any potential move is simple window dressing while schools wait for the grant of rights to expire. But what if the league changed how it defined itself entirely? What if it attempted to add programming and intrigue by merging sort of with another conference? And then he goes down the road of talking about an alliance with the Big East. No, man.
Maybe they could have done
man.
With the Pac-12 a couple of years ago. There was a roundtable we did on the
site. Alliance.
Yeah. Your boy said, how about you just straight up merge? You call it the Coast to Coast Conference. That could have been something. But now
could have been a contender.
The Big East? We're going to have UConn football with us? Awesome.
Yeah. No, it's fun. Made me laugh, by the way. I just going back to Notre Dame, just abusing Florida State. It's
Jim Phillips.
Oh, Jim Phillips, yeah.
Not us.
Well, we get abused.
Yeah, secondhand abuse.
Yes, sucks. Okay, back to what's more interesting from Conley, which was something that came out a week ago, and I touched on it briefly. But I went back through his post-spring SP Plus rankings and where Florida State is compared to where we were a year ago and the year before that, and it continues to be the trend of remarkable change and an uptick, not only production, but obviously predicted success over the next several seasons, which is something SP Plus seeks to do. And Florida State is, a team that was not in that 25 list of SP Plus rankings just a couple of years ago. They currently sit 10th, and they have, they're 21.6. The highest rated team is Georgia at 29. So that shows you how much closer Florida State is to, if you want to talk about the best four, Alabama on the bottom end of that, behind Ohio State as well, by the way, at 27.9. So you're edging ever closer to that elite group.
Yeah, there's a lag effect to this particular model. That's always brought up, especially when you're, trying to be the one that's on the rise. There is a lag effect. And that also will impact what they do with win projections, because there's just not enough data of Florida State being good for the model to say, they've got it all fixed. That's where it is kind of an outlier. If we can finish the job here and make the college football playoff this year, it'll be TCU was the example before us of flipping something fast, and then we will. The problem for TCU is how sustainable is it? It looks like we have a little bit more sustainable elements in the equation for us in the future with the high school recruiting rankings. Looks like we're coming up on the blue chips. We're getting more of them to say yes to us. For whatever reason, we've been able to just abuse the portal in such a good way, and it's been sustainable, that you would say that FSU probably has more staying power than TCU. But if you're looking for overnight successes that the SP Plus and other models couldn't predict, TCU would be the first and we would be the second.
Yeah, and to your point about how difficult it is to project a TCU to have done that and also sustained what they did, they're well down on this list. They're 20th, by the way. And I tend to go a little deeper in these numbers. I don't care if we're 10th, 5th, 17th, 25th. I care about what we are, offensive SP Plus, defensive SP Plus, and the trends in that category. Because in that category, for example, Florida State compares nicely with the better teams in the country. Usually teams that are elite either have, say, the number 1 or 2 SP Plus offense and a top 30 SP Plus defense, or they're balanced. They're somewhere where they're 12th and 18th. 9th and 16th or something like that. And Florida State sits really nicely. For example, if you're TCU, to your point, since you're using them as an example, top 16 offensively, they can score points. 41st defensively, SP plus, not what you want to be. Let's move on up the ladder here to Florida State, who's ahead of Clemson, who's ahead of Oregon, who's ahead of Oklahoma, who's ahead of Texas A&M, Washington, Notre Dame, amongst others. Florida State is 19th in SP plus offense, which we know after this year will be top 15, top 10, and 14th defensively, SP plus. Now, there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors in there. Florida State had some magical numbers under their belt against teams that really weren't any good at all, and on the wrong end of 45-3 and whatever we beat Syracuse and Georgia Tech by and all those numbers where the teams did not score. And even in a loss, we didn't give up a ton of points to NC State. So you have several games like that I'm not sure that it portends of defensive dominance. But I also do think it's fair to say that they're much better than they were 2 and 3 years ago.
Yeah, the one thing about
obviously people aren't just streaking free down the heart of the field as they were 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago.
the one thing about the defense, I will say, is for stretches of a game, they will get empty possessions.
Yeah.
They will do it.
They'll
And-
give your offense a chance, yeah.
And they did that last year against Wake. It was a bad start. There's no
Whoa.
doubt about that.
Jeez.
And bad situational football. They have so many chances to get off the field, and they cash in on none of them for a huge swath of that first half. But then as the offense is getting its act together, we're turning in stops. We are getting stops. And if they do that again this year, let's just say they're the carbon copy of empty possessions versus scores against good teams next year. That is to say, there's a quarter or two that goes by against good offenses, and they're not doing anything. That'll be plenty. That'll be plenty enough for us to be in the conversation for 11 or 12 wins and a college football playoff berth.
Again, we talked the other day on headlines. What is the number defensively that you give up per game, points per game? Just a simple metric, points per game, that sees Florida State win 11 games. 24?
I think it's less because you're going to be playing quite a few games that are going to bring that number down. Because if 24 is the average, that means that LSU's putting up a ton of points and Clemson's putting up a ton of points. So it's got to be.
I'm just saying, no, but okay, I'm not projecting what I think it will be. I'm projecting what it would need to be for us to win 11 games. I think our offense is going to be so dynamic and so dominant that if you were to give up, on average, 24 points a game, you'd still have a season that saw you win 11 games. I can think of only 2 games on the schedule where Florida State will score fewer than 24 points, and they'll win one of those.
I think the easiest way to say it is, what does their average need to be for LSU and Clemson? What does the average need to be in those 2 games?
Okay, it's a difficult but fun conversation. Let's see.
Sounds like something that could solve for the future.
The future. And our friends at ISF, our partners, our collaborators. Folks, we're going to talk about in a minute as we decipher what that number is. That's a fun conversation. That's a really fun conversation. We'll have it next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at widdenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
At Pinch A Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas, it's prime time hot tub season. And after a long, stressful day, there's nothing like soaking in a hot tub with all that steam. And it has lots of great health benefits, too. Pinch A Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas is your true hot tub headquarters. Save today on the hot tub of your dreams at prices you can afford. Come and shop our 12,000 square foot showroom and find the right model for you. With over 50 hot tubs in stock, you're sure to find the one that's just right. And for a limited time, take advantage of a free spa cover with purchase of your new hot tub. That's around a $400 value, completely free with your purchase. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch A Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come see us at 2473 Greer Road. Pick out your hot tub and enjoy your free cover. You'll be glad you did.
A cup of Joe, Java, Brew, Go-Go Beans, Brainwater, Liquid Lightning, Wakey Juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roastmaster himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Get to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates. It's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
It's a great song. Cut!
Not going to get nabbed by those bots.
Those bastards. Tom has done the feasibility studies, and he understands that we can't have the music in the background or we're cut just like that.
They'll gank the whole channel. So, no.
I bring up feasibility studies because of our friends at ISF. It's a little bit of the work that they do, collaborating. Government agencies across the land, help them out, become more efficient. Let's do this thing. Let's sit down and become a little bit more productive. ISF is an IT and strategy firm, have been for 40-plus years, serving state government, business clients across the nation, all kinds of projects. I've given you examples of those. Here's one. Here's an example of something they did specifically. Hey, listen up. If you're over there, maybe working Department of Health or something, you may remember this. They analyzed 3 work streams for the Division of Communicable Diseases. I love saying that each week. And the Florida Department of Health to identify potential for efficiencies in funding. Yes, we need to find efficiencies in funding, always. Organizational systems, IT, all of it, recommendations are designed to assist the department in allocation of federal grant funds for increasing its capacity of disease intervention specialist staff so that improved operations continue beyond the specific grant. That's what they did. That's what ISF does. It's one of many things. They also collaborate with us every week to solve the future. Let's solve the future right now regarding the defensive points per game and the two specific games you mentioned.
I think the two things there. Number one, if you said, what the hell did Jeff just say? That's why you have ISF. Like whatever those things are. And you're like, I don't know these multi-syllabic words. I've got things to do with legislature. I've got things to do with local law. How do I get around these things? Well, not around them. How do I get through them efficiently? That's what they do. The other thing is efficiencies and funding. To call back to the first hour, Clark does not understand what that means.
Does not.
Bryce understands what that means.
Efficiencies. Well, actually, I would say Bryce doesn't either. He saves every penny and never uses it. The other one spends every penny and never saves it. Somewhere in between, guys. We collect the money. We use the money for things that better our lives, or in this case, better systems. We don't just hold on to it, put it under the bed like it's 1870. Let's go. P. Simpson, you're right. Let's solve for that ass. And I would tell you that the LSU game is the hardest one to predict. More difficult than Clemson. More difficult than Clemson.
Yes, especially now that LSU broke out air-conditioned helmets.
Saw that and thought to myself, these soft bastards. Back in my day. I can't imagine, you think about the Junction Boys and all this ridiculousness. You're out there practicing in sand spurs, never drinking water. Coaches were just allowed to line you up and kick you in the testicles as a test of toughness.
2 guys die every camp.
Yeah, they're like, well, they didn't back then because they were outside year round. There was nothing to do inside, so you got out of the damn house. You were used to the heat. But the point is, we've gone from the extremes one way to the extremes the other. It is absurd to me that folks might be wearing helmets in the future, very near future, across the land that are indeed air-conditioned. Come on, man. I'm jealous of that. I did not have air-conditioned helmets, but also I think to myself, it takes away the advantage of being in the South, playing in the ungodly heat.
Well, perhaps Brian Kelly can put one on to cure him when he looks purple, the shade of the shirt that he's wearing for LSU. He's going to be pissed off at his defense.
Alabama Slammer?
The Slammer is going to be pissed off at his defense that Sunday night. We know that.
I think that game is infinitely fascinating. I have a hard time. I have a hard time predicting how this game's going to go. I just think it's going to be a riveting game. The nation, it's good that we'll be in that game. I have a feeling it's going to be down to the wire. We're all going to be stressed beyond reason. It's going to be a one-possession game with 5 minutes to play. Both teams are going to look electrifying. I don't think either defense, and I think LSU's going to have a good defense this year, and I think Florida State's defense is going to be better than it was a year ago for obvious reasons, but I don't think either defense are going to get enough stops for our liking.
Yeah, the hard part is, as dynamic as our offense is, they do have Mason Smith back.
Yeah, it sucks.
And,
I'm really worried about that. I hate it.
This kid named Harold Perkins became a thing.
A superstar.
A few weeks after we were done. It was, oh, so that guy's the best defender in the country?
Well, he's a freaking freshman a year ago. Now he's a nut.
Yes, exactly. So the middle of that defense will be an issue. The good news is this is where it gets fascinating. I know that we're talking about how much will the defense give up in order for us to win 2 critical games. But you just think about, all right, let's put Harold Perkins in conflict with Jaheim Bell and Biscuit and Kyle Morlock.
Oh, yeah, no, we have options. Real options. Here's a sample of how post-Florida State, how LSU's offense operated. And it just got better and better and better. And really, one of the reasons it got better was Booty, and, Neighbors and those guys stopped being bitches, stopped complaining all the time and complaining every time the opportunity presented itself. When they got online after a game and didn't get 9 catches, cried about the offense, cried about the quarterback, cried about the offensive coordinator. Once they woke up and stopped being soft and started to play hard, it changed. Imagine that.
Well, Boutte had one hit him in the hand.
Well, he's a crybaby. They all were. They were ridiculous. But by season's end, they were really good.
Look alive, young man.
They bothered to care. They were bought in finally. I just think they didn't believe in Daniels. And I understand coming into the year, you might not believe in Daniels. But, man, after a while, there was enough proof that he was good enough. Make a play. Here's what LSU did after our game, in which they lost 24-23. And their leading receiver in that game was Jenkins, and he had 46 receiving yards. we're not holding anybody to 46 this time around, I don't think. But here you go. They scored 65, 31, 38, 40, 45, 45, 44, 32, 41, 38, and 50. Or 30. Sorry, 30 at the end. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. In the bulk of an SEC schedule, they have one outlier. It's the ass kicking they took against Tennessee. That's the one outlier. Out of nowhere, for some reason, they gave up 40 and scored 13. I don't know what the hell happened there. But they had a tough day at the office. And that game was in Baton Rouge. Those fans must have been like, what in the world? But nonetheless, it happened. The following week, they said, well, screw that, and went on the road and beat Florida 45-35, and then dropped 45 on Ole Miss, and then beat Alabama. So that really was an outlier. It was a really weird if I had told you after they lost to Tennessee 40-13, hey, they're going to now, in succession, beat Florida, Ole Miss, and Alabama. 2 of the 3 are on the road. There's no way you would have agreed with that.
No, and they were fearless. There was something that clicked. You could see it take shape. I think maybe when they realized, okay, Jaden Daniels is going to be our quarterback, and that's who we're sticking with.
Well, I mean, at some point you would have said he threw for 279, 300, 349, 348, and 182.
I think Brian Kelly was 1 foot in on the quarterback situation, and then once he committed to it and said, all right, we're going to build our offense, and this is what we're going to be about. Some of these inefficiencies that wouldn't work for me at Notre Dame last year are just going to have to be strengths and weaknesses. It's just they found their identity, in short. It seemed like on offense.
So since we're trying to figure out a number here, it's interesting because you have to consider both sides of the ball when doing this exercise to solve for the future. It's not just that they were able to light it up offensively, and we're talking about what our defense has to do, but it's also what did they do defensively after they figured it out? Well, they did a lot. They gave up. Here are the numbers on that end. 17, 16, 0, 17, 13. I'll grant you 35. 20, 31 to Alabama, whom they beat, 10, 10, 38, and 50 against Georgia, and then 7 to close it out in their bowl game.
So if you're an elite offense, you're going to score in the 30s.
True of every offense in the country now. If you're an elite offense, you're going to score a ton of points against anybody. It seems, I don't care who you were facing unless it's Georgia, and even then, think about that. LSU scored 30 on Georgia, lost by 20.
Yeah.
That'll hurt your feelings.
It will. You want the good news or the bad news? I think the average for the games, the original question, LSU and Clemson, what is the average that you can give up and win both? I think it's 28. I think you get to a round figure of 28. I think we can get into the 30s in both of those games as long as you don't give up in excess of 28 points in either of those games. You should win both. It's going to be hard to do.
What'd you say the number was, 28?
28.
I like 28. That's what I was kicking around my brain.
31 is pushing it. 31 maybe, could. 28 feel very good.
Think about on the road against Clemson. Give up 31. Probably not winning that game.
The thing is, I think both of those programs, Clemson might be a little bit more conservative.
Yeah.
But I think both of those programs want to move as well. So I think you might run up a total here a little bit. I don't think LSU is going to play ball control for fear of our offense. They like their offense. They want to score points. Clemson might play ball control because they've got a freshman. Yes, I understand that he played a couple games last year, but he's got a redshirt freshman in the first month of his career. This is the first real opponent he's going to face. So there's pressures that come with that. Maybe you try to run the football, shorten the game to take the pressure off of him. But by and large, I think LSU is going to try and score some points just like us. So 28 is a very healthy number.
Clemson 21st SP plus on offense a year ago. They were 11th on defense despite not a banner year. Somehow that defense with a lot of draft picks got moved on and ran on. It was weird. I think the Florida State Clemson game is going to look very different than the Florida State LSU game. I'm inclined to think the Florida State LSU game is a bit of a shootout and the Florida State Clemson game is a lower scoring game. I think both defenses will play well in that game, and by lower scoring in the modern era of offense and rules in place to favor said offenses, I think that's like a 28-24 win for Florida State if they get it. 27-23 type game. I like that. I don't see that being 38-35, 42-38, or anything like that.
Which has the chance to be a more comfortable win? The better chance. Clemson, right?
It's Clemson.
which I think that if you watched the game last year, watched both of these games, it was the opposite. Florida State outplayed LSU for the bulk of that game.
Dominated most of that game and somehow tried to make it ridiculously close because they blew it inside the 5, inside the red zone, all those things.
Whereas we had our moments against Clemson last year. In fact, quite a few of them. For a huge swath of that game, I think it was fairly evenly played. Lost in situations. And that's how it was insurmountable at that point.
Oh, man. We were made a mockery of in the first half of the Clemson game. That really, really was frustrating. Every time we tried to make a push, we would do something stupid. And then towards the end of the half, you get played, and it's just awful.
Well, I mean, you got a 4th down, and somebody's wide open, you turn it down. Trey Benson cut back for some godforsaken reason instead of scoring on a play, and you have a sack fumble. I mean, those things are all killers. But you were able to move the ball on them better than I thought we would.
Well, and we ran the ball
from a sustainability standpoint. Yes, outside zone, not trickery, not
straight up outside zone.
Straight up.
Again, we game plan well. This team game plans. This coaching staff game plan well on offense. Now, again, not everything, and I want to point this out just in general, and this is true across sports, by the way. Not everything is a coaching issue. We as fans and in some cases analysts, etc., tend to look to coaching for all things good and bad. Oh, those are great adjustments. They really did a good job there. Oh, he's not adjusted enough. They're doing a poor job. Man, sometimes players play well. Sometimes players play poorly. It's not always the game plan. I mean, Jordan Travis played like ass against NC State. He lost some confidence. Guys dropped balls left and right on him. Frustration began to rise to the surface, and they had a meltdown. It wasn't play calling. You got to execute those plays. You got to make those plays. Those plays are there. You got to, at times it is just guys not making plays. So it's fascinating to me. I go back, I think of this Clemson game and what's going to happen for us next year. I think we'll go in game plan-wise ready because I checked that box in every game last year. I really feel like offensively, I feel like I checked that box in every game last year.
Yeah, I think
obviously
the rotation for the defensive interior is going to help you fundamentally change the way that the game plays out. We got run over last year on defense.
Yeah.
But now that you have 6 or 7 guys that you really like.
Shouldn't be the case. They should be second, third, and obvious all the time.
With our offense, if you are getting to a point where the opposing offense is predictable down in distance, that's how turnovers happen.
Cash it in.
That's how blowouts happen in games that should be a clash of titans. That's how it got there when we played Clemson 10 years ago in their house. A lot of that was turnovers. Turnover on the first play of the game or first series of the game.
Yeah.
And then you have the Mario Edwards Jr. sack fumble, or not, it wasn't a sack fumble, it's a scoop and score.
Yeah.
You got the LaMarcus Joyner interception towards the end of the first half.
In the wrong spot.
He's in the wrong spot. But that's how it got to an avalanche.
Oh, sure.
Without the turnovers, you're going to win, but you're not going to win by that margin.
No, anytime you have two really good teams face each other and it turns into a blowout, usually something weird happens. Big special teams play, a couple turnovers, field position. Our thanks to ISF, who help us solve for the future every Thursday. They know you want to do amazing things. You have big visions and goals for the future. You work hard to move your agency forward while navigating all the unique challenges inherent in government operations. ISF works with you. They don't just spark out orders. They want to collaborate and get it all figured out. They're helping government clients solve for the future, and they're doing so now in their 4th+ decade. Good news, ISF. Give them a shout today, ISF.com. Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee Firefighters Union are fighting for...
What's up, guys? Our next partner that you're going to hear from is Athletic Greens. You've heard me talk about Athletic Greens in the past. Happy to talk about them again. I take Athletic Greens every day. And I gave them a try because certainly I wanted more energy, sustained energy. I wanted to support my immune system. I don't like taking pills and vitamins per se. And I wanted something that tasted good too. And the first time I tried it, I was very surprised. It had an appreciable effect on my energy levels. And also, over time, you'll note that it helps your skin, your hair, your nails. I don't have a lot of hair, but if I did, I bet I could feel that. I bet I could tell. It's a comprehensive health habit, and it is a powerful one at that. AG1 is great for recovery. That's Athletic Greens. And I take mine basically when I wake up every morning. I don't have to worry about it because you get all the nutrients that you want. It's the best way to ensure that you're going to get all of your vitamins. It's a carbon neutral business, by the way, if that's important to you. It is to a lot of people, and that's good to know as well. I would also note that it is a comprehensive solution to what you need from a supplement routine. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs right now with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/JCS. Helps me out, guys, if you use that. Not financially, but it lets them know that you heard this ad on my show. And I do take it, and I am vouching for them because I enjoy their product. It's athleticgreens.com/JCS. Check it out. I think you'll note the difference in your life with a simple drink each and every morning to start your day. athleticgreens.com/JCS.
FENNCHIRO.com.
That's FENNCHIRO.com.
Remember, your chiropractor loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying? Yes. I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
In a minute. I'm in a great mood because tomorrow is Friday already. Just like that. And just like that, the week is over. Celebrate, everybody. Woohoo.
And we're in the month of June.
Yeah, we are. Happy birthday in advance, young man, Clark Cameron.
Where is dinner tomorrow?
I don't know. He'll decide somewhere. We're doing a big thing on Saturday. Saturday's the big to-do. We're going to shoot each other with paintball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got a big gang of guys going out there to shoot each other up.
Where is that? Is it in town?
I bought the tickets. That's all I know. So it's him and his friends, and I included myself in this. I said, I'm going to shoot people in the face. He goes, Dad, you're not supposed to shoot them in the face. I said, well, there's no rules in war. That's the way it works. Throw it out the window, but
I'm also bringing fireworks. So
I'm bringing pizza is what I'm bringing.
Look alive.
I'm bringing pizza. That's what I was told to do. So we'll have a big to do. It'll be good. The last time I did any paintball wars or anything like that using the paintball guns was in Bradenton, Florida, and it might have been 30 years ago. And I did accidentally shoot somebody in the face, and they were very angry.
Yeah.
Well, they tell you not to shoot indiscriminately, and I realize what kind of soldier I'd be. I'm just shooting indiscriminately. If you're in that general area, I'm firing.
Old Tommy Gun Cameron.
Oh, yeah. So what happened was I was down in a ditch. We were trying to capture each other's flag, and you had to, obviously shoot people and get towards the flag, and they were up on hills and everything else felt like Nam. So there we were, and I heard footsteps just outside of the ditch. I shoot first and ask questions later. I'd be friendly fire, Cameron. I tell you what, I just jumped up and went, and it was this kid who was bending down to see if anybody was in the ditch, and I got him right in the face.
Oh, man.
Oh, it hurt him. It hurt him. It was great.
Is he wearing a mask?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
He was pissed. Shot me in the lips. He's swollen. It's great. What are you going to do? Don't lean your head into a ditch. That's like these guys on film that you see sticking their heads down in the holes in the caves. No.
Yeah, man.
No, man.
That's
That ain't me.
Yeah, my dad talks about that.
Nope, not going to happen.
He didn't have to do
Underground
that.
tunnels my ass.
But yeah, they also had captured some of the Viet Cong, and they had basically these structures and
oh yeah, well, you can see the
barbed
whole
wire
maze
gates.
of stuff. Yeah,
And he's getting instructions from, it wasn't the DI because you're past that at that point, but whatever officer is telling him the lay of the land. And they got the Viet Cong going through the barbed wire and stuff to show them how it's not impenetrable. It's like, great.
Yeah. Have you watched on Smithsonian Channel? I think it was. They did the whole thing for Memorial Day. It was awesome. It's been all week long. But they had the War in the Pacific, and the video footage of that. I mean, the footage we have from that is insane. But I'd be the guy with the blowtorch. Any cave.
Oh,
Trust me. You'd be coming out of there crispy. I got I'm not checking on anything.
I think that was my dad wanted to be that guy even for the bugs that they had in the jungle in Nam.
Yeah, mosquitoes the size of humans,
spiders the size.
Oh
of,
no, hissing spiders in Nam too,
yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
Hissing.
They had
yeah.
one in his watchtower, and he said the guy who he was with killed it with the butt of the rifle. I mean, but he had to really forcefully do it.
Get you! Somebody's beating this thing. Yeah.
And then it started moving again.
Oh no, nope. Yep. And on that note, we'll do probables here in a second. Brought to you by our friends at Power Mill Training Academy, powering performance, equipping and motivating athletes focused on baseball and softball with very specific tools to reach your true potential. Hey, if you're a young guy or gal and that's what you want to do, you're going to go say baseball or softball. You want to have strong fundamental skills. You want to be able to get the most out of your abilities and have fun playing the game. And they'll help you do that at Power Mill, along with the camps over the summer. So get signed up now and, feel better, hit better, throw better. All the drills, activities, and games to help you get better. PowerMillSports.com. Cue it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
It's already 3-0 Toronto over Milwaukee. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, Toronto. Press on the gas. The Buccos want to be in first in June. Kevin Gausman got the start for the Blue Jays. Remember when he was a Baltimore Oriole? Freddie Peralta goes for the Brewers. We got the Phillies and the Mets. That game is 3-2 Mets in the 6th. Tawan Walker, Max Scherzer. Fun game at Citi Field. Padres, Marlins, San Diego's up 7-1 on Miami. Nobody can see it, though, because of the Lost Network.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I don't know how the rule works, Tom. I don't know how the rule works. You tell me if I'm wrong. Surely Greg Tish will. It's a no-hitter currently. A no-hitter for San Diego right now.
Really?
They're in a no-hitter.
What inning?
7th. No-hitter.
Well, they finally crossed the threshold a couple years back, right? So, yeah.
Rockies, D-backs, Connor Siebold, Zach Davies, Reds, Red Sox, Hunter Green, Chris Sale. Guardians, Twins, Tanner Bibby, Pablo Lopez. Angels, Astros, Reed Detmers, and to be determined. So look at that. Look at that, by the way, before I say that's a look. Angels are 3 games above 500.
Whoa,
what are we doing here? You got the 2 greatest players in the history of baseball on the same team. You might have a winning record.
They might go to the playoffs. How about that?
I don't know about all that. Let's not get greedy. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. I can't say it today. It was fun. Good times. We had a good time today. Yeah, I thought we were able to delve into a bunch of stuff.
I'm just ready for that softball game. I saw it was 10-5 Tennessee over Alabama to start things off. There is a window between. You don't have to wait like it's the ACC basketball tournament.
Yeah.
Short of there being, weather, they have the early session and the late session. We kick off the late session at 7. So there's not going to be a late start. But I believe Oklahoma and the great Patty Gasso are going to be the second game.
I hate that I have to hate any Oklahoma program, but I do hate that program, that particular program. Because of her. Life Spectator, you are correct. Jeff will be violating the rules of the Geneva Convention in his paintball battles. Yes, I've been known. Riley, thank you. You're testifying on my behalf. You were just laying down cover, and his lips got in the way. Yeah, man, it happens. By the way, one thing I do remember about the paintball guns and the paintball wars that we had, you really are incentivized not to get shot. It hurts like hell. So you're running around like you might be if you were worried about getting shot. You're like, this is not cool, man.
Yeah. GD bombs will be uttered.
Oh, you get shot in the back of the leg, shot in the forearm. Hurts, stings.
Did you enjoy laser tag?
Not all that much.
Oh, really?
Not enough on the line. I want to know that when I get shot, it hurts.
If the laser, was it a 2-story laser tag setup?
Yeah.
Oh, those are the ones.
I never really liked it. I was okay. I never felt like the guns were all that accurate. The paintball gun,
it's a laser.
Got that son of a bitch in the stomach. Got him.
It's a laser. It's going to be pretty accurate, I think.
No, I always thought they were wrong. I'm like, I'm shooting you right on that little plate thing because you have to hit the thing.
Now, the reader,
the reader is nonsense. I've shot many a man right in the middle of that reader. He's still running. I'm like, you're dead. You're dead. This is ridiculous.
Uh-huh. So were you laser tagging before paintballing?
Whenever laser tag came out, I'm sure I engaged, but paintball's just better.
That's what this is. So you went laser tag and you said, this is stupid. I'm going to shoot people in the lips.
Well, I want to shoot people and have them feel some pain. Like with the paintball, there's no getting around it. You're like, oh my God, that stung.
You going to suit up with a sweatsuit? What's going on?
Well, the funny part of that story down in Bradenton when I played with my buddy Bill, and I had never done it. I didn't know like it hurt to get hit. Like you'd have a big welt and all that. So I'm wearing like a t-shirt and shorts like a dumbass. And we get out there and they're handing out the weapons and all the paintball. And I'm looking around at everybody. It's like we're in Norway in December. I'm like, what is going on here? That guy's wearing 3 layers of jeans. This is ridiculous. And then Bill looked at me and started laughing. He's like, buddy, you better not get shot. I got shot in the first 15 minutes right in the bicep. I was like, I'll never forget. A kid named Stuart shot me right in the bicep. Stuart, yeah.
Couldn't go by Stu.
No, Stuart shot me in the bicep. You have to go back, wash off the paint, then you get back into the game. That's
how it works?
Yeah, you got to walk off the field. You're out of play for a while. You got to wash off the paint, then you get back out there. They also do it. Well, I don't know what's going to happen here, but you'll see the marks. But yeah, I'll be wearing long sleeve.
Just look out for the guy who has the American flag in black and white.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Good work out of you, sir. Good work, Director Matthew. You, everybody. Peace.